All right. So, I want to chime in on Candace Williams' question. Can single mothers raise a man? Is that the question for real? That's the question.
It wasn't her question.
It was just like a
her repost. She wanted to hear everybody's thoughts on that.
She wanted to hear people.
Again, make sure y'all subscribe and like for more Obsidian content like this. And we want to hear your comments. We want to see your feedback.
I think the question. Can I get back into the question?
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's fucking loaded. First off, it's a loaded question, and here's why. It says, "Can single mothers raise a man?" Now, I don't know what world everybody else lives in, but one day you're a baby, and then the next day you a boy. And then soon you'll be a man and shit like that.
That's
you know what I'm saying? And that will fucking happen regardless of who's raising you and shit like that. A fucking dog could raise a fucking man at the end of the day. But are you doing it correctly is the fucking question.
The quality of man that you raising.
Dog. Like, what are you talking about? Like that's a dumb question in the first place. So that's just automatically that person that even asked that question. And Candace didn't specifically ask the question.
Yeah. But I've heard it before.
It's stupid to ask. Yeah.
It's being asked all over the world.
Do they do it well? In my opinion, no. And this is coming from, I was raised primarily by my mother. Now, I know my father, you know what I'm saying? But me and him have not had the most like cohesive,
cohesive relationship.
So at the end of the day,
but he was present in order for you to interpret.
Yo, I'll tell you what my father did, and this is the type of man that I am. Like it took me to this age to realize that I am my father. Whether or not it be a good thing or a bad thing. From my perspective, I see a lot of negative with the relationship that I personally have with my father.
Right.
But the positive that I took from it is my father works all day, every day. Mm-hmm. Like he was not coming home. He wasn't coming home. He was at work and he was going to be working and he was going to be getting money and that's what he was going to be doing and he was going to be getting money. All that, yo, I need to talk to you, Dad, about my relationship, or Dad, I need to talk to you about this person in school who I think wants to fight me, and My pop was not there for none of that shit, dog. Like, all that shit to him and his perspective. My father's Nigerian, and he's like old school Nigerian. That's the mom's job to like deal with the kid like at school and stuff. His job is to deal with you with like work. And that's it. Like, we're going to make sure that you're going to work. And that's it. Like, he's going to teach you to work. And that's what he did as a man. As far as he's concerned, he was a good pop. But as far as we was concerned, we didn't.
Because you're in the house with mom.
Yeah.
Who's molding your perspective as you go through it in real time.
Mm-hmm.
He's not molding your perspective. He's showing you.
Yeah.
So when it's time for you to refer to what you know, you do what you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the perspective, I think that.
My concept for relationships was established by me having my aunts in my life, my mom in my life, my grandmom in my life. There weren't men in my life. You dig what I'm saying? Like there weren't like dudes. Like my uncle was kind of around, you know what I'm saying? But the people that raised me were all women. So to me, from my own perspective, from my own self, like that's just how I view myself. As far as being like I'm a man, yeah, because I have no choice but to be.
Right.
But there's a lot of lessons that you kind of learn from other men that you won't be able to learn from a woman.
Right.
I found myself growing up and then learning those lessons late. Like I was behind the curve. I was behind the curve.
I can attest to that.
You know what I'm saying? I was raised by women. So this is stuff that these dudes who are raised, but they have their fathers and stuff like that, they know that already. And then it's an old head who's going to be like, yo, young boy, let me let you know that this is how things work. A lot of things I think would have been better for me specifically if I had both parents like intricately in my life. Now, what I will say also about the question and why I say it's loaded, and this is the last point I'm gonna make. I don't think that it is right to be a single parent.
Period.
Parent. I don't care if you're a single father or a single mother. You can't raise a child to be a well-rounded individual if it's just your perspective that they're taking from. They have to see the yin and yang with your relationship. They got to see the balance. A lot of us grew up, speaking for myself, and I'm not going to say what anybody else's burden is, but I'm going to speak for myself. My parents' relationship was very, very, very toxic. And at the age that I am now, I'm like, damn, there's an adult thing that should click in your back of your mind when there's children involved and you're dealing with another human being, where it's just like, yo, it should just come down to a conversation. And it should just be like, walk away from this conversation with something that we have accomplished and stuff.
Right.
For people to just be running around, like my parent, I talked to my father about his relationship with my mother. I talked to my mother about the relationship. They're still married, but you know, they just keep their distance from each other, which is, it works for them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I can appreciate the way that they for different folks. Yeah. They're still married. My father makes fun of me like, I'm still married. You know. I be like, my father be coming in my day. My father be about to shot. He'll say that. I'm still married.
He like, me like, what you mean by that, old timer?
It's like, what it came down to was, when it comes down to my parents' relationship, we watch TV too much. And you think that, you know, the Carl Winslows and the motherfucking, what's it called, Fresh Prince of Bel-Airs and all that shit, like, is a thing. That's not how marriages work, dog. People have to learn how to work together.
Exactly.
And that's what a marriage is.
So what your goal is.
Yeah, what my goal. Yeah, so what
not
their
what Carl's
goal was on Fresh or whatever the fuck, like, you know what I'm saying, Urkel and all of that.
Yeah, Family Matters.
You watching Bill Cosby too much. Bill Cosby, and on the show, Bill Cosby was an immaculate father, but in real life, you know what I'm saying, like, he was hiding children, pilling women up. At the end of the day, you know what I mean, like, you have to be the best person that you can be. And I think that the generation behind us, they had a lot of childish ways. In my opinion, there was always this thing where they said even on the Cosby Show, to reference the Cosby Show again, they used to say that it was the idea of the Cosby Show was parents raising their children and children raising their parents. Where you're not born a parent, you don't become a parent.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah, till you have a child.
Shout out to my step pop. I had that conversation with at one point. I mean, it wasn't a conversation. It probably was me out of line. But I remember getting that point, or trying to get that point across, because I felt like I was being treated a certain type of way, and it's like, yo, you gotta grow with me. Like, you know what I mean? Every day, you a step further into your stepfatherhood, I guess, and I'm a step further into my stepchildhood, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? But I'm growing, and you have to grow with me, or else there's going to be conflict. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm growing. You're supposed to grow with me. So I definitely feel
your
like
children are raising you.
Yeah, when you don't have kids, you're not going through the things you go through when you have kids. So they're teaching you stuff or forcing you to learn stuff that you don't know.
There's a level of maturity that comes with having children and actually raising them. I think that people need to take that. I'm big on generational wealth. You cannot have if you do not have a solid relationship, you're not building generational wealth. You're not. You're just not. You're just not. If you think that you're a single parent and you're building generational wealth somehow, you're a liar to yourself. There's no generation that's going to transcend from this. Generations is combining families consistently. You combine a family with this family, then your child combines a family with this family, your other child combines a family with this family, then their children combine a family with this family, and our family essentially just is supposed to become like this. We live in an era where people just be the hell with their family. Like, Oprah was somebody that pointed that out one time. She said, you got to learn when to divorce your family and stuff like that. I feel like we in the black race cannot afford to do that anymore. We need all the allies that we can get.
We got too many fingers running around and not enough fists running around.
You know what I mean? I think that we have to, our generation specifically is in charge of setting the bar straight, if that makes sense. Like, we're supposed to be getting things in order for the final, like, this is it.
The final goal.
Yeah, like,
after this, reconfigure the program. It's done had spam hit it. You know what I mean?
We tried the integration.
We're going to
we tried the segregation.
We're going to clear the window now. Get rid of the pop-ups. Put the spam blocker on there.
Right.
Put the spam blocker on there because this next run we make is the one.
It's it already. At the end of the day, there's nothing. We don't got nothing but time now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to do nothing. We could just sit back. Like, all the marches and stuff, you can do them all you want. Go march. I've marched. I've done several marches. I love marching. I like marching. I like writing my sign and everything. I really do. But at the end of the day, I'm out there for the sheer history of it. To be able to tell your kids, oh, I was here and I saw what happens with the riots in Philly and I saw this and that. Just to make sure that I'm... keep staying accountable, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I wasn't just talking.
Kind of like the whole voting thing. Like, if you don't vote, then don't say shit.
Yeah.
Don't say shit if you didn't vote. I might want to hear about what the fuck you think about no politic if you not getting up and doing the best you can to be involved in politics.
Right. If you're going to just complain about police brutality, but you've never been in none of the marches, then what are you saying for real? Right, you know what I'm saying? At least start your own foundation or something. Do something to get in the mix. Pick up something.
Yeah, I think and that's another conversation, but I think political literacy is very, very overlooked. You know, not just because I think it's so simply painted sometimes. If you don't vote, then shut the fuck up. It's like political literacy, though. What are you voting for? How do you vote? What level? Like, you know, you can't just go vote every 4 years.
When I went,
you gotta hit every level.
When I went around the country, dog, I went around the United States and my assignment was to go to every hood in the country and talk to black people about voting. Yo, bro, the most disappointing, like heartbreaking job that I've ever had. And I was a teacher. I was a teacher in the city, and I thought that was bad. Go do some politics one day. Go.
No, I'm good.
Go around and see.
You had to break me.
Your people.
If I speak, you know what I'm saying? You had to break me because it was, and I can speak for a lot of people. I don't speak for everybody. I know I can speak for a certain amount and speak not for a certain amount, but a lot of people don't believe in the process. And then I think that was me and you talking, and I was like, yo, you believe you just gotta, and I'm like, nah, man, fuck that. I don't believe in that process, man. Fuck it. It don't matter who in there. They gonna do what they want to do.
Voting? You talking about voting?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was like, yeah, but so what did you vote in? And I think at that time, that specific year, I might have only voted in the presidential or something like that. Like, I didn't hit all levels.
Yeah.
And I never cared to think about that either. Like, you know what I mean? So as soon as you like, yeah, you vote, I'm like, yeah, I voted for the president. He's still going to have people around him that don't want him to do what he's trying to do for us. You know what I mean? Did you vote the people in around him?
Right.
What you mean vote the people in around him? How you vote the people? What?
Those people get elected.
So you're active because you only voted for the president and shit.
Yeah.
You didn't vote for the cabinet was open, or you know what I'm saying. You didn't vote for the council. How about your local? Let's go local. Did you go local? Did you go vote for your black cabinet? Did you do that?
Governor? Did you vote for your governor, bro? Did you vote? Do you know where these votes are coming from?
I don't know. I think you wear the burden of previous generations' tiredness too.
So me specifically?
No, just in general. No. You could be tired because somebody before you was tired. I think you do inherit that.
Oh,
it's not a good thing. Not you specifically.
I get it. No.
I'm saying I think you can inherit that. So like you don't even
definitely inherit it.
Because I'm thinking about how I felt, and I'm like, yo, I didn't care to even do all of that. But why? I'm such an outspoken person. Why don't I care about hitting every level? To prove it to myself, the system doesn't work. Why am I just going off of what somebody older than me said because of their experience and then the person over them? Like, nah, actually go out and see. And then you can't just see by yourself because you got to vote, he got to vote, I got to vote. So now you got to go talk to your homie. Yo, all right, nah, we can't just vote for the president. We got to do it on a local level too. They having something around there at the church. Let's go over around there and see what they talking about. Like, you know what I mean? And then it trickles up. That's the way we can turn it around. But, you know, I'm 35 now. So that'll be something I instill into my children versus me trying to go back in time and re-vote and everything that I voted in, or catch all the votes and ballots that I missed. So I think that's very important too. And that it's funny how we can get all the way here, and it all ties into that question.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? That's
about the single
parents. God damn.
I don't think single parents should be a thing at all.
It shouldn't be a thing.
It shouldn't be a thing.
I don't want it to be synonymous with our community anymore. Like, I don't.
They just like to put the flashlight on our community.
I know, but that I don't even. That's a joke. That's a joke. Like
what?
It's kind of like an ongoing joke. Like, well, let me guess, you didn't have your dad, did you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't hear nobody saying that about no other community other than ours. Like, that's just Tyrone didn't have his dad, so he has an excuse to act like that. Like, nah, what the fuck you mean? Pretty sure y'all. I'm gonna start doing some numbers and shit to find out who got the highest like divorce rates. Let's see, it can't just be
divorce rate is 50% across the board. So that just means every race is getting divorced the same.
But it can't.
You can't even say
it's gotta be asshole fathers or asshole mothers. Like there's gotta be a stat out there for that.
For like who's the worst parent? Like is
by the races though? Like yo, who has the most fingers out here walking around and not fists?
I don't think anybody can come at black moms at all. Like I just don't.
I think they can. I've seen some interesting things.
Black women is a thing you can come at, but not black moms though. Because black moms, honestly,
what you had to
more times than most.
So do you
I know bad black moms. Don't get me wrong, but
do you agree in the Do you agree in the propaganda that there was an intent by the system to
separate the man from the household?
Yeah.
Yes, I do agree.
Okay. Now, who perpetuated that cycle?
You're talking about black women, not black moms.
Not just black moms?
No, that doesn't entail. We can't. I hear what you're saying.
Right.
That's a black woman thing, not a black mom.
Well, black women become black mothers.
Right.
So it's. I hear what you're doing. You separated them, but they still run parallel. They still run in the same circle. But it's crazy because it's all a cycle to me. Like you know what I mean. You don't accept this help from the system. That is also, in order to help you, they got to kick me out. Right.
I have to.
But you know what I'm saying. The way is
designed to get more money if the man's not involved.
Exactly.
But that's not true either, though, dog. Cause you get married, you get some come-ups, dog. I say, God, dog, yo. I ain't know that the government treated men so well. I was like, oh, shit. Niggas really should you should get married. Nigga, you need to get married. I'm just bitch, fuck that. Like, your credit rate. I'm trying to tell you.
That's the cut, yo. The circle is the cut.
Credit.
Like, the circle is how we cut. Don't get to that one, too.